The purpose of this video is to introduce you to the Christian Story online course. It's Christian Story 2, the theological tradition. It's important to recognize that this is a 4-credit course, so we're taking a full course and putting it down into 7 weeks. So the purpose of this course, if you look at the course description, is really to focus on how have people articulated the Christian faith. What is the language that has been used? And one of the ways in which I try to teach this course is to try to help people focus on the conditions of our belief. Why do we believe what we believe? What language and what worldview kind of are at focus in helping us understand why we believe what we believe? And so we're going to walk through the history of kind of the Christian theological tradition. We're going to start with the patristics, or the early church, and move on to contemporary theology. Now, it's important for you to recognize that I understand that a lot of you are coming from different traditions and so on, and my purpose in this course is not to try to get you to believe, certain things necessarily, or end up believing in a certain tradition, but more to understand your own tradition in light of the history of Christian theology and some of the things that Christians have believed for centuries, and what are some of the basic Christian beliefs and how we have articulated them. An important part of this for me is what I call the conditions of our belief. What language do we use to indicate what we believe, or how does language structure the way that we believe and understand our faith? So it's important for me just to walk through the syllabus with you so you get an understanding of what the course will be and what the expectations will be. So there you see some of the basic information, the contact hours. Email is the best way to try to get a hold of me. After 5 o'clock, I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. One thing I do want to emphasize to you is that the week of July 31st through August 6th, I'm going to be gone, and so I'm going to have limited access to email. I will have some access, so I'll check in periodically. But I just want you to understand that if you try to contact me during that time and it seems to take a little while longer, that's why. So there's the course description. I'll let you read through that on your own. What are the course purpose and objectives? First, to know and understand theology, Christian theology, in relation to the narrative of God's action, the traditions, the councils, theologians, the different types of theological reflection, and the mission and growth of the church. It's also an attempt, a time for us to think critically about what we believe and why we believe it. And we'll talk about the historical process by which all of this begins to develop and how Christians understand the biblical testimony of who God is. And then a response. How do you respond in application? What does it mean? Why even worry about any of these things? So all of these things are goals of the course. The course will be evaluated in the following way. These are basically the course assignments. You're going to have a paper on Augustine. It'll come in the second week. You're going to read Augustine's Confessions, and then you're going to write a paper on it. You're going to read Julian of Norwich, and you're going to write a paper, and Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Each week, though, you're also going to have weekly discussion posts where I'm going to pose a question, and you are then going to post a response to that question, and then you're going to respond to 2 of your classmates' posts. So you'll see that posted on Blackboard, and hopefully it will make sense as you do that. There'll be online reading and lecture quizzes. So every time you have a reading, you're going to be quizzed over it. There'll be online quizzes. They'll be timed, not for the purpose of giving you anxiety, but just for the purpose of kind of moving it along. What I would like you to do is take notes while you read. You're free to use any notes from your reading that you have on the quizzes. So when you're reading Augustine, jot down some notes. What are the main points? What are the main things that he's talking about? You can use those notes on the reading quizzes. Lecture quizzes, the same thing. So you're going to see some recorded lectures that I give, and there will be quizzes about those lectures that you will be required to do. Take notes on those lectures. You can use those notes as you do the quizzes. The quizzes you'll only be able to take once, and it will be pretty straightforward. There'll be multiple choice. You'll see how you do right away. And then there'll be a final exam the very last week. So the module 7 is really kind of the final exam and the prep for the final exam, which will have both an online component. Well, it'll all be online, obviously, but a multiple choice component, and then an essay component that you will complete online. So here you see the course assignments, lectures, and reading quizzes. I just kind of talked about that. You can see there I've listed off a few points. Quizzes should be completed after you finish the reading and online lecture. Quizzes are open note. Quizzes will be timed, and you only get to take it once. The papers, and basically what I've done is I've given you the prompts here. So this is the prompt for confessions. You're going to read the confessions, and then you're going to write a paper. So after the whole module on Augustine, you're going to get a lecture by me, a couple of readings, and then read the confessions. I'm asking you to write a paper on responding to this prompt. Now, it's important. Some important points about all of the papers that you're going to write in this course. They're not research papers. They're you reading the text, listening to the lectures, and then kind of engaging with it. When you write your paper, try not to use quotes. I know sometimes you want to, and that's fine if there's a point to make. But if your paper is like a bunch of quotes kind of put together, well, you're not going to get a very good grade. The third point, this is an academic paper, meaning I'm asking you to shape the paper in the context of Augustine's thought. Because there's a personal element to it at some point, I'm okay with you using the first person. Try not to do it too much, but that's okay. It's only 3 to 5 pages in length. I'm looking for content. You don't need outside sources, but if you do, you need to cite them. I need to make this point. It sounds like I'm being a huge Debbie Downer, but every semester I have students who don't quite understand this. You need to know what plagiarism is. Anytime you take somebody else's work and make it your own and you don't give any comment about it and saying this is somebody else's work, that is plagiarism. You need to know the difference between using a source and copying somebody else's work. You also need to know the difference between getting help from someone and simply using their paper and switching up a few words. It is very important for you to understand that there are serious consequences to getting caught plagiarizing. You'll get a 0 and you'll be reported. It's so much easier to do your own work. Even if you don't fully understand it, that's okay. That's why we do this, right? It's a learning process. Please do your own work. It will be better for you in the long run. So you'll see that holds true for paper 2. There's the prompt. Paper 3, there's the prompt, and you'll see I have the dates on there, and then you'll have a final exam. Your weekly discussion posts. Each week I'll post a discussion question based on the lecture and the reading, and students will post their response to the question in a thread. Students will also write a response to 2 posts to their classmates to facilitate discussion. Your initial responses are due by Sunday night. So we start the class on a Wednesday night. For some reason, it goes Wednesday to Tuesday night. And then, so by Sunday night, you need to have your first post done. And then your 2 responses to your classmates are due Tuesday evening. Some important things to consider. You need to keep up with the work, the course lectures, and the reading. Each module is going to be unlocked at a certain time and then locked at a certain time, which means you will not be able to go back. You need to complete the work in that first week during the first week. And if you don't, that module is going to lock and you will not be able to go back to it. You also need to make sure you complete the quizzes on time. They're only available during that week. It's also important that you recognize that once you start the quiz, you need to make sure you give yourself time to finish it. Because if you don't and you try to quit, it's done. It will lock you out. So please make sure that you give yourself time to complete the quiz once you start it. Make sure you submit your question responses on time. They're only going to be available at a certain time, and you are going to submit everything on Blackboard. There I make another claim to do your own work. You will get caught if you plagiarize, and again, it's just very important and better for everyone to do your own work. Here you see the books, Historical Theology, and Augustine and Julian and Bonhoeffer. Now, notice, for Julian, we're actually reading a translation, a certain translation. It's a contemporary translation. It's easier to read. Please get that one. If you get a different one, it's going to be harder to read. Same goes for Augustine. You can find them, look, this one's only $10 on Amazon or wherever you buy it. It's not that expensive. But you can find one maybe for free on Amazon ebooks or something, or for 99 cents or something on Amazon. That will be a version that will be so much harder to read because it's an older version. This one is a contemporary translation, so please make sure that you get the translations that I've indicated here. It will go much easier for you. Here's the grading scale, and then the reading schedule. All right, so you can see that we're broken down into 7 modules. You can see the first week I list off, here's what it's going to talk about, and then here's the reading, and then the assignments that are going to be due. So I hope this is helpful for you. The purpose of this course is again to just give you an understanding, a deeper understanding of your Christian faith, and it hopefully will go well for you, and hopefully it will be a good engagement for you. And again, if you do the work and take the time to do it, I think things will go very well for you. Please let me know if you have any questions or any concerns. Make sure, as things get started, that Blackboard is working. Make sure that you can watch videos, and you'll see we'll be using YouTube videos, and I will be asking you to upload things to YouTube, so make sure that you know how to do that and then link to it. We'll see that here with kind of the first module, what I'm asking you to do with an introduction video. But those are just some preliminary things that you'll need to know how to do. So again, please let me know if you have any questions. You can email me, and if you have questions before the course gets started, I'll certainly respond before things get going.